Hey y'all, welcome back to another video and welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell by the title of this video and the thumbnail, we are making a delicious shrimp stir fry. So my shrimp is peeled and deveined. This is about a pound here, but I do have to go in and remove the tails from my shrimp. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that really quickly by running it under some cold water and cleaning it with a little lemon juice. Now we're going to jump into our seasonings. This is a teaspoon of Old Bay. And of course we got to go in with the dynamic duo. I have a teaspoon here of onion powder and then a teaspoon of garlic powder. Once that is added, I am going to go in with some paprika. Y'all know I love paprika. This is a teaspoon as well, just for the beautiful color. And then I'm going in with half a teaspoon of black pepper. Once that is added, I am going to give it a good mix. You want to make sure that all of that seasoning touches each and every shrimp. You want flavor in every single bite. So once it's all mixed and combined, we're going to set it off to the side. And now we're going to go ahead and move into cutting up our veggies. So I like to start with cutting up my bell peppers first. As you can see here, I do have 3 colors. I have orange, yellow, and red. Now when it comes to my bell peppers, I do use the sweet bell peppers for this recipe just because I love the flavors that it gives. And this is such a dish filled with veggies, so a little sweetness never hurt. Once that is all cut, this is what I have here. Now this is quite a bit, so you don't have to use as many as I did. Once that's all done, we're going to go in with our red onion. So I'm not going to use this entire red onion. It is relatively large. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it in half. And then I'm going to cut it again down the middle. So I'm going to only use 1/4 of this red onion. And I'm just going to remove that outer layer of skin. I always remove it. There's no point for it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut this into strips of onions. So as you can see here, this is how I'm doing it. I'm just cutting it along the ridges or along the lines that are in the onion. Hopefully I explained that correctly, but y'all know how to cut an onion. So that's all I'm doing here, and I'm trying to keep them about the same size as the bell pepper strips just so that it all cooks down nice and evenly. So now that that's all cut, we're just going to set it off to the side, and then we're going to move on to cutting our next veggie, which is this crown of broccoli. Now this is also a relatively large crown of broccoli, so I am going to go in and remove some of those broccoli florets, and then I'm going to break them down even smaller into smaller pieces. So I'm just going to go in, remove a few, and get it broken down. I'll show you how I do it here. Now to make this easier, y'all know I'm all about working smarter and not harder. I'm going in with a knife and I'm just going to cut that thick stem from the broccoli, and you're just going to tear it apart. It's so much easier once you cut that stem off as opposed to trying to break it down without removing that thick stem. So pro tip, use a knife and cut that stem off. Alright, now that that's all done, this is about the amount that I have. And like I said before, use as much or as little as you'd like, but I'm also going in with a 1/4 cup of matchstick carrots, and then I'm going in with 1/2 cup of snow peas. So now we're going to get into the fun part, my favorite part. You want to make sure you have a pan with a lid, and you're just going to go in with a tablespoon of vegetable oil. I have my pan here on a medium heat, and once it's all nice and heated, we're ready to add in our first vegetable, and that is the bell peppers. I love to add the bell peppers first just because I like for it to cook down just a little before adding in anything else. So I'm going in with my bell peppers and my onions, and I'm just going to give that a good mix, making sure that each veggie is coated with some of that vegetable oil that was in the bottom of the pan. And it's going to take about 2 to 3 minutes to soften And you're just going to make sure that in between that time you are mixing and stirring and getting those vegetables cooked down. Once it's cooked down to about this right here, you're going to remove it from the heat. I like to remove it so that it doesn't get too soft on me. So I'm going in now with a teaspoon of butter. I did not clean that pan out. And now I'm going in with my shrimp. The reason why I did not clean the pan was because I wanted those flavors from that onion and that bell pepper to kind of help season that shrimp just a little bit more. You want all of the flavor you can get in this recipe because it does contain a lot of veggies. So now that my shrimp is cooking and in a flat layer, I'm going to create just a little bit of a sauce. So I'm going in with a nice 4th teaspoon of cornstarch, and I'm going in with a tablespoon of soy sauce and some water. I only put a 1/4 cup of water here, but it ended up being a 1/2 cup of water. I gave that a good mix and I'm going to set it aside. And now I'm just going to flip our shrimp. The shrimp cooks very quickly, so you want to make sure that you are not overcooking your shrimp. I let it go for about 2 minutes on one side, and I'm going to flip it over and only let it go for about a minute there, because we are going to add this back into the pan so it will have time to cook down. So now I'm adding in that little sauce that we created earlier. You want to make sure you get all of that cornstarch out the bottom. And I'm just going to give it a good mix, making sure that I am removing whatever is left at the bottom of the pan from the pan so that it has a chance to season that sauce a little bit more. And now I'm going in with our broccoli and our snow peas as well as those carrots. And you want to make sure that you give that a good mix so that it has the opportunity to cook down as well. Now, like I said before, I did not like to cook everything all at once just because I like for things to still remain vibrant, and I don't like for my veggies to get super mushy. This is going to take about 6 to 8 minutes for that broccoli to cook, for those carrots to cook down a little bit, and then those snow peas, you want to make sure that those kind of cook down a bit as well. And as you can see here, our sauce is starting to thicken up, but you don't want it to be overly thick. So about 6 to 8 minutes, then you're going to add in your ingredients. So everything that we cooked prior to putting that in, those bell peppers, onions, and that shrimp. You want to make sure you get all of that juice in there. Do not leave anything out. You need all of that flavor. So now we're just going to go in and give it a good toss. And we're going to go in and cover it with that lid so all of those flavors can kind of marry together. This will not take no time at all, about 3 to 5 minutes. And while that was cooking, I did have a pot of white rice on the stove as well. So I was able to cook us up some white rice to pair with it. And this is what we have. Yummy. This is a delicious stir fry. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.